Well, America has experienced a rapid, in fact, a massive inflation in genders. At one point, biologists were allowed to determine what biology was, and there were two, male and female. Now there's agender, bigender, two-spirit, hydra. We could go on forever, literally forever, because the core orthodoxy is that there are infinite genders. But not everyone agrees. Some people believe in science. At their peril, it turns out. Lake Engel is one of them. He's a student at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. In a religion class, a class about Christianity, he stated his belief that there are two genders because, again, that's biology. And for that, he was told he had to apologize in front of the class, stand silently while they critiqued him re-education camp stuff. Lake Engel joins us tonight. Lake, thanks for coming up.
Thanks for having me, Tucker.
So I don't know if I was mischaracterizing that. You had this professor called Allison Downey who was so threatened because you disagreed with her that she tried to get you to sign some form apologizing for your unorthodox, non-allowed thoughts, and then what happened?
Right, yeah, she asked that I would sign a document complying with her asking me to apologize to the class as well as giving her a written apology. She asked that I would stand in front of the class in silence as I apologized, and then they would give any comments on my outbursts.
Did she say what specifically she was so offended by?
She didn't like the fact that I disagreed with the subject being pushed in class being more than one gender, male privilege, systemic sexism, and mansplaining.
Is mansplaining a measurable thing? I mean, is it a like species of social science studying mansplaining? What is mansplaining anyway? Do you know? Did you learn?
I'm not sure. I think it's any time a man speaks, really.
Huh.
And
so
no, it isn't measurable.
What did you, right, I mean, it's a species of dumbness, really. So, but what did you, it's propaganda, what did you say about gender that made her so mad, specifically?
Well, I first referenced entities like The Economist who have debunked the myth of the 77 cents on the dollar wage gap. And I also stated that biologists don't agree that there are more than two genders. They don't believe that there are 72 genders or more across the board. Most of them disagree, and she really didn't appreciate that.
So by citing the longstanding view of biologists, the hard scientists, Allison Downey, who supposedly, you say she's a professor, tried to get you to stand in front of the class and take abuse. Did you do that?
No, I didn't. I was supposed to, but she really didn't give me a chance. I was given 10 days to comply, but the day after she asked this of me, she decided to push it on through to the university's provost office to then hold a hearing, which would decide whether or not it could be allowed in class, period.
Why do you go to this school? Or why does anybody go to this school or any other school? I mean, what are you getting out of this exactly?
Well, I initially went for athletics my freshman year, but that's a long gone dream now. I'm pretty much just stuck here.
Man, I wish I could hire you. I would encourage you and anyone else who has any experience like this to drop out and join the workforce. It's not worth it. This is a joke. It's a bubble, and we're all going to realize that in 10 years. Like, you're a brave man for coming on. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Tucker.
This is one of the most insane things I've ever seen. This young man, his professor, pushed over to the provost office of his university for him to be put on trial, literally, put on trial for saying that there are not 72 genders. It's not enough to say that men can give birth, men can have uteruses, men can menstruate. Now you have to accept that there are infinite genders. And there's nothing you can do about it. You're not allowed to say anything. Or you can be publicly humiliated in front of your classmates. That's what she asked of this young man, to go in front of his classmates and be publicly humiliated as they interrogate him on why he believes there's not 72 genders. Years ago, trying to explain this to someone and say this is happening in our university classrooms, the place where you're supposed to gain higher education, it would have been unheard of. But now this is commonplace. Now university, they're not a place where you learn how to think, they teach you what to think. And that's a very dangerous precedent to set for our education, for our universities. But good on this guy for standing up, for saying, hey, you know what? You're not right, and I'm going to stick to reality and truth. We need more people like this standing up, and a lot of people can't do this. He obviously is coming from a place of privilege where he's able to do that, but many people are not able to stand up to their professors who they disagree with because it's a lot. Those consequences, getting in trouble, they may lose a scholarship. They may not be able to afford opportunities outside of university. So it's important for people who do have that privilege, like this young man, to speak up for others who may also agree with him but aren't in a position where they can speak up.